So, I've been hunting around for quite a while for a truck that not only I liked, but my dad liked. And let me tell you, finding something that he likes that's also the same thing I like was a very hard challenge. What started off as what would have been easy was originally, way back when I was like 10, I decided that I wanted Papa Ron's old 1980 Chevy truck. We called it Old Red. Well, um, uh, Papa sold it to his buddy, and his buddy decided he didn't like it, so he scrapped it. Perfectly good running, driving square body Chevy, and this guy decided to scrap it. This guy that my grandpa sold it to. So, of course, that was out. So then I thought, well, I like Uncle Richard's 57 Chevy flatbed truck. That was fine and dandy until like 2 years ago he decided that he was going to sell that to his neighbor. And his neighbor Bob doesn't really want to sell it. So I was out there. So we hunted around, and I don't have a picture of it that I am aware of. Maybe I do. But we looked at I think it was an 81 Chevy truck. It was red, big four-wheel drive. Transmission had been rebuilt. It had some hot-rodded engine in it. You know, it was a nice truck. The engine had been redone. But my dad wasn't sure whether he liked it or not. And that wasn't really I guess I got out of order there. So after my uncle sold his, or my great uncle, I guess, sold his 57 Chevy, I really had my heart set on a 67 Chevy pickup. And I know a girl at school whose dad has one, and for the most part it just sits in his driveway. It doesn't go out very often. It looks like it's the same color red as the ones in the old advertisements for those trucks. You know, it's that kind of dark red color. And you know, he just uses it for hauling stuff around. You know, I've seen him haul firewood and stuff like that in there. Well, I kept bugging this girl about, you know, if her dad wanted to sell the truck. No, Dad didn't want to sell the truck, so I finally quit bugging her about it. And we haven't seen him outside, so we can't just stop in there and ask him, you know, hey, is you're interested in selling your truck? And obviously he's not. So for a long time I just was kind of not sure really what to do, because I really had my heart set on that truck. I just thought that was the coolest truck ever. You know, it was a small window in the back. You know, that was a one-year thing. No turn indicators on the sides. You know, the reflectors on the sides of the truck. Wasn't any of those, because it's a 67. Well, after I figured out that her dad didn't want to sell his 67, it was kind of dormant for a while. Just, I didn't really look for anything. I thought maybe I could find a cheap one on the internet. Well, all the cheap ones I found on the internet needed the engine rebuilt, or they'd had a wreck, you know, and so they needed parts. I'm going to switch hands here with the camera. So I wasn't quite sure what I wanted, you know, because I was like, well, he obviously doesn't want to sell that truck. So then, it's been a month ago or so, I saw a 76 GMC Sierra Classic 3/4 ton truck, and that was pretty cool. And it's kind of a greenish color. It was in beautiful shape. I have a video of it. And so we went and looked at that, and I liked it, my dad liked it, but we called the people. My dad and Grandpa were actually gonna go get it, because I was in school at the time. That's what it was. So my dad and Grandpa were gonna go get it. Well, they went over, and in the time from when my dad got off work and because my grandpa drove by it during the day to make sure it was still there. So in the time that it took for my dad to get from Chrysler to my grandparents' house, and from my grandpa and my dad to get to these people's house, which from my grandpa's house to these other people's house was like 5 minutes. So within the 35-minute block from when my grandpa went and looked at it to when my dad and grandpa went and looked at it, the truck had sold. So we were out of luck there, and for a long time, ever since, about the time that I decided I liked Old Red, my grandpa's truck that he sold, that's the first truck I was talking about. I've liked this, it's a 73 to an 80, I don't know what year it is, never stopped and talked to the guy, but there's a guy in Kokomo that has an old Chevy truck. It's two-tone red with the light tan in the middle, and I really like that. Well, my dad absolutely hates that truck because it's real rusty, and I like it. I think it's a cool looking truck, but my dad absolutely hates it, does not want me to have it, and so I couldn't get that because it's got to be something my dad halfway likes, or else he's not going to want to help me work on it when it needs work done. And I know that this old rusty truck runs and drives because I see it going down the road in Kokomo all the time, but I also know it's not the guy's only truck because he's got a newer Chevy truck that sits beside it typically. So my dad doesn't like that truck. So the only thing that my dad and I have really agreed on so far was the 76 GMC that sold within the point in time that I just told you that story. So I was out of luck there. Well, I saw a 52 Studebaker in the Indiana Auto and RV magazine. It was a bluish color. It's definitely blue. I don't really know what color blue to call it, but it was blue. And so I thought, well, I'd rather it not be that blue color, but I can't be too picky. I'm starting to want a truck. So it started out as my dad seemed like he was okay with this truck, from the pictures we saw and in the magazine. So my mom called about it, and the guy didn't answer. So we called again the next Monday, I guess it was. We called on Friday, and then Father's Day weekend went past, and so we called on Monday. No phone call back. So we just assumed the guy sold it. So in the meantime, I saw a 82 Chevy that was blue. I liked it. I liked it, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted. It was a little newer than what I was wanting. So, it was in pretty good shape, but not quite what I wanted. Then we started looking at I forget what year it was. It was an 83 Chevy. Anyway, with this yellow Chevy, I think it was an 83. And it was yellow, and it had the white top on it. It was a really, really pretty truck. I really liked it. It had the different looking grill in it, where the grill goes under the headlights, and then the turn signals are down in the bumper. Quite a bit like, you can't see because of the weeds, but the bumpers on these S10s, you can't really see the bumper because of the weeds, but the bumper on, kind of like the bumper on those S10s, or if you're familiar with the old, 71 and 72 Chevys, has the turn signals down in the bumper. That's how this truck was. And I really like that truck. I started thinking, well, it's a little newer than what I like, but it's yellow and white, and I really like that truck. We almost, I was getting to the point where I was like, you know what, call that guy, because it was there, and I knew enough about that truck I didn't have to research it. Like when I was talking about the 67 Chevy, I didn't know a whole lot about it, you know, so I did a lot of research on that truck and found out a lot of interesting stuff about it, you know, the goods and bads, where to look for rust on it, you know, and the truck that this girl's dad had, the 67, it was in good shape, you know, had some dents in it, but it wasn't rusted out too bad from what I can see from us just, you know, driving by. And we drive by every day on the way to school, so, you know, like, it's on our way to school, so, like, I see that truck every day. So I knew whatever I was going to drive, I was going to have to like it better than that truck, that red truck, where I was going to have to stop in there sometime and say, do you want to just trade vehicles? Because, you know, the guy, I know he needs a truck. But anyway, I liked that yellow Chevy truck. I didn't like it as much as the 67, but I liked it. And I was to the point where I was like, just call the guy, you know, because I didn't want to research something else that I didn't know anything about. So I knew enough about this 83 Chevy, you know, okay, it's a good truck, it's in good condition, so why not? And I was, like I said, I was to the point where I was like, call him. And then at the car show, there was a car show Saturday, and today's Monday, so it says on my watch here. So on Monday, so no, on Saturday there we were at a car show, and we saw a 49 Studebaker truck, just like the blue one. Blue one's a 52, but same body style. And I just really, really like that green Studebaker truck that we saw, especially in the green color. It was so much better than that blue color. But I thought, well, you know, why not start talking to this guy about it? So I really, really like this truck. You know, I was telling him, you know, I'd done a bunch of research on it, because when I saw that blue one in the Auto and RV magazine, before we called the number that was in the book, I did a bunch of research on it. You know, same thing as the 67. I looked to see, you know, is it dependable? Yeah, it's dependable. Can you find parts for it? Yeah, you can find parts for it. Because that's why I didn't look too much. I really like the old international trucks, like the early 70s ones, you know. I really like those. Those are cool. You'd hardly ever see them. Well, since you hardly ever see them, nobody makes parts for them. So I didn't want something that I couldn't afford to buy parts for, you know, if, like, say the alternator or something went out on it. I need something that I can afford to work on if need be. Yeah, we could stick a Chevy engine in it, that's not a problem, but, you know, I just kind of want something that I don't have to work on. I just want something I can mess with, you know, drive around now. So, I've been pretty patient about it, you know, because everything that I've wanted has not really been, for the stuff I really liked, I either missed out on or it wasn't for sale. And the stuff that I kind of liked, you know, my dad saw a red 85 Chevy truck, and he wanted me to buy that, but I wasn't real wild about it. It was in good shape from a distance. What I would call a fake truck, what some people call a 10-footer. Looks good from like 10 feet away, and the closer up you get to it, you know, the outside of the truck had been redone, but the bed was still, you know, dinged up, which I wouldn't care if the bed was dinged up, except for the rest of the truck looked really nice. And so it made what I would call fake, you know, that it made the condition of the truck not look as good because of the bed not being painted. You know, that'd be like if I painted up this truck real nice so that it looked brand new, and then I left the bed, you know, all wore out. Like, it was worse than this. It had holes poked in it and all kinds of stuff. The bed on this truck's about all that's left that's good on it, but the floor or the bed of this truck's pretty good. But anyways, I wasn't real wild about it. So that was out. I think it's still for sale, actually. It may have sold by now, but anyways. So my dad and I agreed on the Studebaker truck. So I was talking to these people at the car show about it, and they said that it's real dependable, and they let me sit in it. I got my picture sitting in it. It was the most comfortable vehicle I'd ever sat in my life. I thought my grandpa's old 80 Chevy truck was comfortable, but that thing didn't hold a candle to this Studebaker truck, and it had the original seat in it. And wow, was it comfortable. So, you know, I just fell in love with that Studebaker truck, and just coincidentally, I don't know how, but anyway, the son-in-law of the guy that had the ad in the Auto and RV magazine, he called my mom, the guy that was selling the truck. He's in the hospital, unfortunately. His health is very poor, and that's why he's selling the stuff in the Auto and RV magazine. Well, I decided that, you know, I really liked that truck, and so I was so excited when my mom got a call. So we're going to go look at it tomorrow. So even though, as you can see, I really like Chevys. I have a bunch of different Chevy hats. All I've looked at Chevys. I really like the Studebaker truck, even though it's blue. You know, it's original. That's the only reason that I like the blue color as it is. So I may be, as they say, a Stude dude. An old Studebaker truck. So that's what you might see me tooling around in. We're going to go look at it tomorrow. So wish me luck, and of course I'll take a video of it while we're there and show it to you guys. And if we buy it, I may take a video of us driving it home, because the guy says it runs and drives, so I assume that means that we can drive it home. You know, we got to talk to him about brakes and all that, but anyway, we'll cover all that out. So wish me luck. Like, comment, subscribe for more. Have a great day, and check out some other videos.